welcome to the review for week 1. Congratulations, you made it through the first week of HSK 3 grammar. All right, so we're just going to go over these one by one, all the grammar points that we've learned this week. The first one is fairly simple. It is approximating numbers that are next to each other. So here we have an example, 3、4个小时. So that's 3-4 个 hours. 就到了. So in 3 or 4 hours, so 3 to 4 hours, in 3 or 4 hours, we I don't know what the subject is. 就到了, we'll be there. That's one way this sentence could be used. So we'll be there in just 3 or 4 hours. 3-4个小时就到了. So that's when numbers are sequential and they're next to each other, and you want to say like 3 to 4 or 5 to 6 or 1 to 200, then you just say the numbers next to each other. 3-4个小时. That's a fun aspect of Chinese that's different from English. It's just the two numbers right next to each other without any to or something like that in the middle there. All right, the other point was big numbers. The next point, 1 is 10,000 and E is 100 million. Remember I said that in Chinese, the numbers are divided into 4 zeros before you come to a comma, rather than 3 zeros like in our system. And here you can see it actually. So 1 equals 10,000, right? So if you take this comma and you move it from there and you put it right here, now we have E1, 1, 1. Does that make sense? That's why I said that. And it carries true to the next thing. Here we have E, 100 million. If I put 100 million in our system, it would look like this. That's 100 million right there. And if I take the commas away, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, comma, 1, 2, 3, 4, comma, and now we have E, 1 E. That is 100 millions. So, and I talked about a couple of anchors that is good to remember. We have 100, which is 101 is 1 million. And we have also 10亿, which is 1 billion. If you have 100 million here and you times it by 10, you'll have a billion. And then also we had, I told you that E, for me it's helpful to remember that the American population is 3亿多, because and then I can remember, oh, okay, that's E equals 100 million. The next grammar point was talk about 半. So if I want to say half of something, I say 半, measure word, and then noun. If I want to say a number and a half of a noun, like 3.5 hours, I would say number, measure word, 半, and then the noun. So 3个半小时, half an hour, 半个小时, 3.5 hours, 3个半小时. So there we have 半. Then we talked about, I messed this up. This negative duration is supposed to go down here. I messed up. I forgot negative duration. And so I was too lazy to erase it all. And so I was just going to put this right here. Actually, no, 5.5 is really where it should be. So this is 0.5.5. So ignore that for the moment. Just negate it. You know what I'm saying? All right, duration. So, if I want to talk about how long something took, for how long it happened or how long it was in a certain state, the formula, there's 2 ways to do that. I can say the formula is subject, verb, la, and then the duration, da or no da, and an object, if there is an object in the sentence. And then, or I can go subject, verb, object, and then verb la, and then the duration. So the duration goes after the verb for how long something took. And so let me give you some examples. 我学了2年半的中文. 我学了2年半 or the or no the. 我学了2年半的中文 or 我学了2年半中文 or 我学中文学了2年半. So those are options for how to say that. And then ongoing duration, to remember, it's actually really easy. If you want to make it clear that something happened for a amount of time, but it's still ongoing, it hasn't stopped, I'm still studying Chinese or whatever, then you just take another la and tack it on the very end of the sentence in either form. And that's very easy to do. And it's fun because now you're so cool that you can make Chinese sentences that have 2 las in them. Isn't that amazing? Okay, then we have negative duration. Negative duration, the duration goes before the verb, and there is a may or mayo, and then a la at the end. So an example of this would be 我已经2年半没学中文了. So I already, or you don't have to say already there, I already 2年半, 2 years. 2年半, no, 2.5 years. 2年半, may, have not, 学中文了, study Chinese 了. So I haven't studied Chinese for 2.5 years. It's already been 2.5 years. So yeah, remember that the duration, the negative duration, the word order is different from the positive duration sentences. All right, then we had using ba sentences. So it changes the word order from subject, verb, object to subject, object, verb. And the formula is subject plus ba plus object plus the verb phrase. And of course, something has to come after the verb, whether it's a complement or just the verb being repeated or a la or even an object. I guess I should say when I said object, I should make it clear that it is an indirect object actually, because the main object comes right after the ba. I didn't say that the first time around, but hey, you get it. I hope. And the example would be 我把饭吃光了. 我把饭吃光了. 我 subject, 把饭. 把 is that little ba. 饭 is the rice, it's the object. 吃光了,我把饭吃光了. 吃 eat, 光 like it's all gone. That's the result. And then la, it's talking about the action has been completed. Okay, there's that. And then there's bei. We talked about bei. That's another structure. It's the main way to create a passive sentence in Chinese. It switches the doer and the doer and the recipient of the action or the agent of the action around, so that the doer is now the object of the sentence and the recipient of the action is now the subject of the sentence, just like the passive by in English. I want to point out that even though that those things get switched around, like the recipient and the doer get switched around, the sentence word order is still subject, verb, object. That doesn't change. It's just the subject becomes the recipient and the object becomes the doer. It often expresses negative meanings. 我被车撞了. 我被车撞了. 我 I 被车 by car 我被车撞了 or by the car. 撞 means to get hit. I was hit by the car. 我被车撞了. Or I can omit 车 and say 我被撞了. I was hit. I was hit by something big. Usually 撞 is like a boom, not like a that kind of hit. All right. So that is week 1 review. Woohoo! Keep it up.